Hare Krishna. Today we're going to talk about abortion. The Buddha is asking this question: what is the Vaishnava perspective? In our scriptures, like Srimad Bhagavatam, it's clearly stated that by performing abortion, someone will have to suffer many times over for doing such a sinful act. Why does abortion occur? If we come to that state, then it means something else has already gone wrong many stages back. So this is called Varna Shankara in the Shastra, like Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna says, if there's all these ladies without their husbands, if all the men fight in the battle, then it's going to lead to unwanted progeny, Varna Shankara. And then the unwanted progeny will end up being a nuisance in society and will cause so many disturbances. They will have so many sinful tendencies that will cause unrest to society. So therefore, Varna Shankara is something that is always a potential problem in society, and abortion naturally means that someone doesn't want the child. It's unwanted progeny, or Varna Shankara. But at the same time, it's described that one should not commit abortion, because it's described like you'll have to take thousands of births in the wombs of a mother, be aborted, and then again enter the womb and be aborted. So it's described that thousands of births will pass without you ever seeing the light of the sun. It's a very difficult punishment given. That said that this is the fetus, the baby, when it's developing, it's in the most fragile, innocent state. It's harmless. It doesn't have any chance to defend itself. So generally, if there's an unwanted child, sometimes in Vedic histories we see, like Kunti Devi, she was still a maiden girl and she had this mantra that she could invoke a demigod and get a son. And she tested it out first, and the sun god came and he said, "You've called me, I have to give you a child." So the sun god gave her the son, which was Karna, and she didn't want him. She thought it would be very shameful for me, I'm a maiden girl. So she placed Karna in a basket and floated it down the river in a basket, trusting it into the hands of fate. So you can see such histories even like in the Abrahamic tradition of Moses. He was also put in a basket. So there's kind of, in the Vedic scriptures, it said you should not directly, So it's debatable, because people would say, okay, you're stranding, you're making this child an orphan and causing it more pain. Ganga Devi, she gave birth and then immediately threw these children into the Ganga and liberated them. But they had previously been devas who were cursed. Ganga Devi, when she had 8 children, and one after the other, as soon as she had a child, she threw it in the Ganga. It was like she's killing infanticide. But when she was challenged, she said, "What are you doing?" She immediately left Bhishma's father at that time. And she said, she was actually trying to help them, because they had been in a higher position. They were devas and they were born on earth, and they didn't want to have to suffer as a human. So they prayed, they took shelter of Ganga Devi. There's a very interesting story in the Itihas, in the Puranas, how Ganga Devi, she said, "I will be your mother and I will let you quickly come back to heaven." They were cursed to be born on earth, so she said, "As soon as you're born, I will put you in the Ganga and you'll come back." So that's a kind of spiritual case. That's like a divine demigod case. But in this world, we should know every life is sacred. Birth starts when the birth begins. Then you shouldn't, abort the child. Now people say, okay, there's a whole right-wing, left-wing argument going on over this. The left wing says, okay, you care about the child before birth, but afterwards, you don't look after them. If you're at the stage where you're thinking of having abortion, our point is that you've already kind of gone too late. If you're in a proper dharmic relationship, proper marriage, you'd never want to abort your child, because naturally you have love for it and you want to see it raised. But if you're not controlling your senses, if you're not having a proper Varnashram kind of society, Varnashram marriage, if you're prematurely very young and you're having kids, then how are you going to support them and also try to advance in a career? Or even that, Are you having to all husband and wife work day and night like donkeys to support one family? In previous times, the lady would be able to take leave for a long time and not have to worry so much. Nowadays, if a girl is having a child when she is, still young, it's like, how is she going to maintain herself? But also we should understand that ultimately these things are very sinful. Things like, slaughterhouses. It's very sinful, and because of the reactions to such activities like slaughterhouses, so much suffering comes in the world. So many wars, so many diseases, so many. You could even say potentially like pandemics. These are coming as karmic reactions. So also abortion is the same kind of thing. It's a very sinful activity. It's described to be like killing a Brahmin, killing a cow, aborting the baby in the womb. These are very, very, very fearsome sins described in the scriptures. And the problem now is that the rhetoric becomes like, okay, your choice. It's the woman's choice. It's not the man's choice. And okay, but ultimately, if you perform the sin, then you're going to have to deal with the karma for it. No one's going to share that karma with you. So yeah, it's your choice if you want to do it. It's your choice to kill another person also. No one's going to stop you if you have that intention. You go out and do it. But no one's going to share the reaction, even in the judicial system. Now we're not saying it should be like some kind of capital punishment, but ultimately it is said that if you receive punishment from the government for your crimes, then it helps you not have to suffer for those things in future life. So for example, if you murder somebody, now we're not saying abortion should be like that, we're not saying that at all, but it is said in scripture, like in Manu Sanghita, if you kill somebody and you receive capital punishment from the state, then that will stop you from having to suffer that situation again and again in future lives. So it's actually like a quick kind of atonement. Now, abortion is a very subtle, very delicate issue. It's something, the problem I feel is that it becomes too much of like a celebrated thing. It should be something that like before it was, very rare. If the woman is, her life is in danger, or, if there's a case of incest or something, then before the left's rhetoric was that if it's absolutely necessary, then it should be legal. We should allow it. It should be regulated. It should be overseen. But now it's like, okay, it's celebrated. Just like, certain things in certain rare circumstances may happen, and it may be accepted, and people shouldn't be thrown, destroyed for that. But then you give them an inch, and then people want to take the whole limb and then say it's a very wonderful, beautiful thing. You have to choose whether life has value or doesn't have value. So the argument is like, what? A child is only valuable as soon as it's born, but the day before if it's in the womb for 9 months, nowadays they want to pass laws where you can abort it the day up to birth. The day up to birth you can choose to have an abortion, or even some cases after the birth, if they think, oh, this child is, maybe it's deformed, or maybe it has some disabilities, let's kill it. So it's a very, they're pushing a very kind of actually demoniac system now that Vaishnavas definitely do not follow and accept. Vaishnavas do not at all endorse such kinds of things. And devotees who are intelligent also should, understand these things from the proper understanding of Guru Sadhu Sastra. So just a few things about that. Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranams.